Eamon Ryan, do you want people to sit in the corner, curled up in a ball, crying, cold, with the flu? Because you're trying to get rid of everybody who has a fire and everything like that. You're trying to get rid of all this. And again, as we speak at the moment, thousands of people across this country, across this island, can't afford heating. Can't afford heating, sitting in the cold in their house with no heating, and especially in these cold evenings, with frost and things like that. It's freezing. It's freezing. Then some of them have children. And I heard Dáil Éireann today. There was a few TDs talking about it, and you have to feel. Well, there's a woman particularly. Pauline Tully was talking about this, and I know about this. It's actually, I'm not going to say whereabouts it is, but it is in Cavan. And Pauline Tully did talk about it. It was about a mother who has 3 children, and she sits on a sitting room floor because she can't, they can't afford heating, and the fire is the only thing they have to keep them warm. So they have to sleep in the sitting room because if they didn't sleep, they probably would freeze to death. To be honest, no joke, and that because the house is freezing, and the windows are very old and rotten away, and there's no air conditions. It's not like that. It's not a modern house, and again, to think about that, for example, that's unacceptable for a citizen. And as she said, and as Pauline Tully said, this woman worked all of her life, and she said, "I never asked that for any handouts of the state," and she's asking for help now because she just can't deal with it. And again, this is the thing: she never asked before. She never asked before. She doesn't ask for much, but she only asks for her children to be to have heating. And again, the government are very aggressive with these heating policies, and they won't give her money and things. The social welfare are a bit of cons anyway. But here's the thing: as we speak now, well over 10,000 people are lying homeless across this island. And with no home, with no heating, with possibly, if they're lucky, a sleeping bag, maybe even a box. And these TDs and these senators and ministers, you often wonder what planet they live on. Because this is the thing, Eamon Ryan's talking about the carbon tax, he's talking about, and he wants to bring in, like they had an outrageous idea, they wanted to give out 2-for-1 deals and cut down and just put the price up and close things like that, and fine people for not putting the waste in the proper bins and etc. separating the waste. This is the mad idea, which they will bring in. It's not a shower of doubt they will bring it in next year or the next year after that, because they're so eager for money. And you might say it's for the greater good in the environment, but this is not the thing. The bigger picture here is these people can't afford it. These people can't afford the change, to upgrade the heating system. As I said, these people can't afford. These on low income, and especially after COVID, there will be a big financial crash. We all know that. I'm sure everybody knows that this country will not be able to cope after whenever this happens, whenever this ends. Please God soon. But this country is in massive debt already. But again, COVID is with the amount of state bailouts and things like that. Obviously, the banks will collapse, and obviously we probably have to bail them out again, which probably most likely would happen. And there'll be nothing done about it. But yeah, here's the thing: Eamon Ryan doesn't understand. Like, they literally want you to go in that corner there. They want you to crawl down in a ball, cold, frightened, fearless, afraid to go outside. That's literally what they want. They don't want you to go here. They don't want you to do this. They don't want you to bone tough. They don't want you to bone cold. They don't want you to do this. They don't want you to go here. They don't want you to go there. They don't want you to leave your house. They don't want you to do this. They don't want anything. Like, they don't want you to do anything. Watch OT. That's all they want you to do. Give them funding. Give them funding to keep OT afloat. But again, can anybody else see what I'm talking about? It's just like you really have to wonder, and that's the only thing I have to say. That these people are talking about these grand plans, when people can't even afford to feed themselves, and they're talking about putting up the carbon tax and putting people into poverty, which they already are. Many people, hundreds of thousands, probably in this country, are in poverty, because simply they can't afford to feed themselves. First of all, they can't afford to keep themselves warm at night. They can't afford to put clothes on their back, and some of them don't even have anything at all. And these people, I don't know what, like, honest to God, I don't know where Eamon Ryan's living, but he's not living on planet Earth. But again, he's probably always asleep when he's making these decisions. But again, the Green Party will never be heard of. They really will never be heard of. But this is the thing. There was a TD, I can't think of the name of the TD, but it could have been. I can see your face in my head. I could remember watching it. But as she said, there's a woman, I think she said 80. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not too specific of what she said, but I think it's 80. And she has nothing. She basically has nothing. No fuel line, no fuel allowance or anything like that. She relies on herself to keep her warm. Now, these people, like these ministers and TDs, you often wonder, how can they sleep at night? Like, honest to God, you just really have to wonder. And again, like the fuel allowance, for example, it's not given out to people in the COVID unemployment payment. It's given out the social welfare job seekers allowance. But at the end of the day, as I said before, with the carbon tax, they give you extra €5. They give the elderly people, they give the fuel tax an extra €5, right? The fuel handout, the fuel funding, they give them an extra €5, and then they put up the price and they took it off them straight away. So again, they get the money back. But sure, look at the crooks are the crooks, and everybody knows that this government are the biggest crooks going. Along with RT, along with the Green Party, as Dan the Mixtape would say, and I think I have to say it was a great name to go up with, the Green Goblin Party. Because I don't know what, like anything, I don't know, like I really don't know. It's not good for the environment, whatever the Green Party have in mind. I don't think it's any, again, as I say, would say to him and Ryan, if I got to speak to him, I would say to him, what about China? Like, this is a genuine question. What about China? What about it? Where is the United Nations? Where is everybody? They're imprisoning people over there, they're subjugating people. There's nothing being said about that. And then you see the big factories pumping out smoke 24 hours a day, plastic into the atmosphere. That's causing weird damage and polluting the seas. And God knows what else they're doing. But again, using forced labour to produce all this stuff that's made in China. And you don't see Eamon Ryan going over to the Chinese ambassador and saying, get out of this country. Because again, Ireland should really, and I tell you straight, I don't really believe in Ireland having a big say on the world stage. But again, when people are being oppressed and being dictated to by a country that's a communist dictatorship, Ireland, has a duty as a sovereign free nation to say, to make a stand and say we won't tolerate people treating their own people like subhuman. But obviously Ireland hasn't got a backbone. The Irish government haven't got a backbone in them. And obviously we all know they're with the Chinese government anyway. But sure, look at, as I say, they will do what they have to do, I suppose. But again, massive situation, massive a country. That's like literally everything's literally topsy-turvy. Like the Teletubbies would want the country better. And I might stay straight.